We are live, I think. Let's see. Maybe that's true. Okay, we are live. So welcome everyone to the fourth live coding lesson with AskQL. Together we're gonna do some live coding session and we're gonna talk about AskQL in general. Maybe we'll discuss some benefits of using this technology. So I am going to add Martin Hackmeyer in a minute, so just be patient. We are actually right now together, but let me add him to the stream. Give it up for Martin Hackmeyer.
Wait.
Just a second. Just a second. Okay. Now I'm gonna mute my.
I głośnik. Halo.
Okay, I hope everyone can hear us.
Yeah, should be fine.
Let us know because we don't know. We're sitting just we're sitting together, so we had to mute one computer, but we're not sure if you can hear us or not. Just let us know in the comments below. Or if you can just say hi, just say hi. Or if you can't hear us, then you won't comment anything, obviously. But if you can hear us, let us know. So welcome to the fourth live coding lesson again. And today I wanted to ask Martin, what does it mean when a programming language is Turing complete? What does that mean?
Okay, so we use this. So Alan Turing was an amazing scientist, and so he theorized about like what is a full programming language. So something that is very useful, you can use to compute anything. So I mean, yeah, I guess this is it is actually quite complex to define, but you can also look at it more simply, right? A full programming language is a programming language that no matter what the task is, you can use to do your job. And there is a mathematic model around it that says that I think like just 8 different operations are needed to be able to do any computation, but like I mean, having only 8 different operations would be just difficult. So people create more high-level languages, but it's important to know if they are Turing complete, like if they can express any computation or not, because that's a difference.
So AskQL is a Turing complete language, right? Do we know any other Turing complete languages?
Yeah, so most like the renowned languages would be complete. Obviously, like JavaScript is a programming language, Python is a programming language. Those two are pretty popular these days. So AskScript, like this, our little language learns a lot from JavaScript. So it has the same potential, kind of like expressibility that you have in JavaScript. It's just like yeah, I keep repeating the things, but it's important to like focus on like what the language is good for, and it's like it's just there to be simple, to be like the simplest way we could think of, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, we've discussed engineering benefits of AskQL, and for example, last time we covered things like that AskQL allows to query multiple data sources, right? It allows to process data asynchronously. right? There is only one endpoint necessary. All objects are immutable, right?
Yep.
So that's what we said last time. And now we are just adding this, the fact that it's Turing complete language. And we also covered that there's an easy syntax in AskQL, pretty easy, I think, with simplified JavaScript, right?
Yeah, that was the idea. Again, like all of this is only gonna matter, for people who are like comparing this to different languages. But if you just here to learn a little bit about programming and maybe start programming journey, because it really doesn't matter like what language you start with, as long as like it's a simple, like in terms of like it's simple for you, and it has the full potential to like compute anything you want, then you're good to go pretty much. Like languages share the same concepts between themselves. So you learn one language, that's the hard part, and then you can learn another very more easy.
So getting them is like easier.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also talked about at least few of the business benefits, and we covered things like thanks to AskQL, you can have faster front end and backend integration. I keep looking at Martin because he's sitting right here. So what about that? Why, like, how come it's faster? How come it's better? Like, why we all should be using AskQL in terms of front and backend integration?
Well, there is like two different parts. Like the language itself, we keep it simple, but like the application of the language, that's a different part. So something like, okay, you have a simple programming language. So what you can do with this? So one thing that we saw this was really important was when like those computers communicate with each other, and they needs to be able to pull as much information as possible at once. Because it's like it's more efficient this way. The less network communication that you need is gonna mean that your program runs faster. So we thought, okay, what if computers were able to send code to each other, and like it would take a safe runtime, an easy programming language to be able to do that all. But if we had all that, then supposedly that would lead to easier system integrations. That's something that we are researching, working on to find out if it's really true, if the language has this good application. But I mean, you don't know what you're gonna find out. It may turn out that it's not good at all. It can turn out that it's actually horrible at what we think is gonna be good. But maybe it's gonna be good for other things. They actually, if there was a single person who learned a little bit more about programming, that would be a nice outcome, a positive outcome, I think. So, I mean, I'm just happy to like. Keep helping people understand more about programming, regardless of whether or not this language itself has good applications. I actually think it does, because I think that programming is too complex, should be easier. I mean, you want to create a simple website, you need to learn 3 different languages like HTML, CSS, JS, and I mean, if you wanted just to have a website with one button, green color, you click on it, a message pops up, you shouldn't need to, speak 3 different languages to explain that to the computer. So obviously there is there's still a way for us to keep things easier, and like creating a new programming language is a great way to do it, I think.
So it kind of sounds like this whole no code movement, right? Like making coding like really easy just with visual elements instead of programming.
Yeah, that would work. I guess that makes sense. So I saw this app the other day on App Store. iOS App Store, which allowed you to run Python code inside this app, and by ability to run this Python code, you could like automate more stuff with your device. So they offered ability to program your device on this device, and I think this is pretty cool. That's one way to look at programming languages, because okay, you have your tablet, right? So what can you do with it? Really, I mean, you can only do with it like what the manufacturer foresaw and what you get in the application store, but you really don't have the freedom to do really whatever you want to do with it, because you lack the programming ability, and this is where the programming languages come in. I think this should be really like a commodity that people can do programming, because we all have technology just to be able to adjust it to our needs. That's the point.
Yeah, good point. Guys, what do you think? Let us know in the comments. I really hope you can hear me, but what do you think? Is a no-code movement, is that a future? Do you think that coding should be really simple and like available for everyone? Maybe that's the way to go, right? So let us know. We're really interested in your point of view. But I also had one more thing to ask, because we also said that with AskQL, there's a good chance that the prototyping of the network communication would be faster, right? So if you could explain that a little bit more to me and to our viewers as well.
What do we mean by this? How do you understand this? That's what I'm curious. Like integration. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, I didn't come up with this one, so that's why I'm asking for
all right.
explanation.
Okay, I do my best.
I think it's really related to network communication, the speed of the network communication, maybe.
Yeah.
Would the usage of AskQL, would it make network communication faster, like communicating with, for example, two servers? Would that be faster?
Well, so right. Yeah. So you remember, like some lessons ago, we used the example of a restaurant. You can imagine like a very old school restaurant, kind of like the sort of like similar to the one that you'd find if you looked for a restaurant today. I mean, like you have a card of different items you can order, so you can pick whatever item you want, but there is very little customization you can do just by the menu. You can speak with like the server, the person, the waiter, to help you get what you want, but that's sort of like, it's a non-systematic way, sort of like a very custom. You need the human factor to be able to figure it out. So, I mean, if those restaurants don't have a system for ordering custom food, and one way to how this could be possible would be like if you could explain to a restaurant step by step what you need to do to produce what you need. So instead of finding sort of what suits you in like the list of dishes, you could instead just explain to them step by step, what is it that they need to make for you. And so, I mean, this is an idea, right? So how do I get what I want faster? Should I go with what they have and change it, or should I ask them to do what I need?
Yeah, so it's like just sending over my favorite recipe and telling them that's exactly what I need. And
yeah, exactly. Given that this is a different kitchen than, for instance, your home kitchen, they have different resources, such as like different cooks, different machines, different ingredients. They might come up with a different result to the same recipe, which might be something that you would like,
But I also thought about the fact that, like sending over to the server a program instead of just a query, and then operating data there and just receiving the final answer, it might speed up the whole process.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably it would, but again, this is just hypothesis. There might be some other, good parts about the language. Really, like what we need to do, we need to find one good application. Like for instance, like teaching people programming would be a wonderful one, I think. And if we do that, then naturally people will start, using this more and finding their own applications for it, and then sort of like naturally we're gonna I mean get where we want to go, I think. So yeah.
Okay, I'm checking if there are any comments, but not really, not yet. So we hope you can hear us. I really do hope so. Are we ready to do some coding now? Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yep.
Okay. Oh, we have one comment. Hold on.
Hopefully.
Oh no, there's an echo. Why is there an echo? We're streaming the sound just from one computer, and you guys still can hear echo.
Yep, that's something that we would have to look into after.
Close to Marta.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys can see that we're not making this up. Okay. Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah.
This is my hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope it's better now. Let me know if it's not. We'll figure something else out, and let's do some coding.
Okay. So where have we left off, Marta? What is it?
Oh, we did some functions. As
Yep.
far as I can remember, we did sum of squares as our last function. And let me just share my screen. Okay, let's go to the playground. And let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's quite convenient. Okay. So I mean, all right. So seems like we did functions before. So I'm thinking, okay, how about could you write a function that okay, let's start with a simple function. I'm just really curious what's if you still remember stuff after this 2 weeks. Yeah, unfortunately, I know.
Okay, so which function? Let's just start by letting an identifier be something, right? So which function?
Yeah, so let's, so how about we get a name of the user, so we get a text and we return a greeting to it. So you have a function takes one argument, that will be a name of the person.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to produce a different text, that includes the name, but it's longer. So for instance, say, the name is John, but you need to produce hello John, and that's your function.
Okay, so it's like combining resources with values.
Yeah,
right?
so that's a greeting function. So yeah.
Let's go with
okay.
greeting. And
So something that you need to, like the syntax aside, something that we need to be thinking here is like, okay, what do we need our function to do? That would be the name of the function. So the greeting would like imply that, this creates a greeting, right? So the other things, what is it that the function needs to be able to produce that result? So these are the arguments, right? So we like to be able to produce the greeting, we're gonna need like the first name of the person, let's say. Okay.
So, but it's still a function. So do I put fun here?
Yeah. Fun is the keyword that allows you to. Yes. Okay.
You're creating an argument.
Awesome.
And but we need that other part too. So I don't know.
We need the so-called the body of the function. So the place where you can put write down all the like the contents. Like, so what is it that actually the function does? That's something that you write in the function body, the curly braces.
So it will combine the name of the person, of the user, with text.
Yes, that's basically the idea. Yeah. So I mean, for now we can just write a very simple version of it. So we can just, I don't know, maybe just even return the name and just see how it works. You remember, like we can start with something simple and then sort of like work it up.
Yeah. So maybe with hello and Marta.
Okay.
That's what we need. And so why? So I don't know. What now? Do we say what the function has to do?
Yes. So every function, like when it's like called, when it's run, it's gonna do everything that's in curly braces, one by one. So this is where in the curly braces we need to like produce the returned value.
Here?
So the curly braces, this guy where.
The curly. Okay.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. So it's.
So in curly braces, you need to put in the computation. So it means like you need to say what is the recipe to get the value that you need. So if you want to get the hello Marta, you need to like take hello and add something to it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Comma, and then with name, but I don't even know how to.
Okay. Yeah, that's then
combine those.
Interesting.
Things.
Okay. Interesting to try. Okay.
And
so.
Maybe, and I don't know.
Yeah. So we have a function for it. It's called the Concat. You can run it on strings. So we can. So Concat is a function that takes strings and sort of like glues them together. So you'd need to use that here.
Concat.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. Okay. Yes, that is right. And it needs arguments. Yeah.
Okay. And what I put name.
So here you put in like the different parts of the string that you need to join together.
Hello.
Yeah.
How do I put it in? This?
Yes. So I mean, the hello that you did with the like quotes, it means like here is the string value that I need. I put it in quotes. This is literally what I mean. This text. And with the name, this is something different. You say I want to take the value of the name thing. So it's a different thing. That's why you put a text in the quotes and the identifier like as it is, but we're still missing one thing. Like every time we pass in arguments, we need to separate them by a comma.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that looks good, except for the part in the beginning called the greeting equals. Because like in the function body itself, what you need to do, you just need to produce the result. You don't need to do anything else with it. So saying greetings equals concat doesn't actually mean doesn't actually do us any good here, because greeting, it's a function. It's already defined in line 2, and in line 4, what we need to do, we need to say what is it that the function returns. We don't need to use any special word for it. We just need to write down the value at the end.
So I would just delete the whole part. And I will just leave it like this.
No, I don't think so, because you still need to say fun and name. This is your definition. You say let greeting equals fun name. It's like saying I need a new thing in my program called greeting, and it is a fun. So a function takes in arguments, the name argument, and it uses it to produce a new interesting value that I'm gonna need in my programs.
Okay.
So basically, you need to get rid of the greeting equals in line 4, because
okay.
I mean, so the I mean, there is a way to look at it, right? And it's like a language. So every language comes with a way of thinking. It's like, I mean, if you want to speak this language, you need to follow its way of thinking, its own logic, and that way, if you do it, it's gonna be, everything is gonna fall into place, and there won't be anything really that you need to remember by heart. It's like programming. It's not as much about like learning by heart. It's more about like understanding the principles. And here the principle is that if you want to have a greeting function, you need to create it yourself. So you need to say, hey, I'm creating something called greeting, and it's a fun. The function, works this way. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just see the comments. Okay, much better. Okay, I am glad that works now. Okay. So yeah, well, that's really not a problem for you. For me, it might take a moment to like adjust to the syntax and everything that's going on.
Yeah. So I mean, this is why we do repetitions. Repetitions. Yes.
Okay, so we got that. So we combine a string with an argument, right? And now we want this function to operate.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so if you
or not.
Yes, we want, but I would also like to yes, I mean, definitely. Can you call it? Can you run it and see how it works?
You. How do I? Okay.
I mean,
what do I? Do I call for fun? No. Do I call for greeting with and I give this argument here? How do I do that? Greeting.
Yeah. So every word you use in the language, it has a meaning, right? Mm-hmm. So let's see what we said here. We said, okay, greeting. It should be something, and we are right about it because we defined it in line 2. So in line 6, our program should already know what greeting is, and okay, we're calling it. So we use those brackets to say, okay, there is something that we need to do about the greeting, and you pass in values in it. So here's the thing, like the Marta, it's not a string actually. It's it's like an identifier that is actually missing because it's not defined. If you run this program, there's a good chance that it will complain about Marta not being defined.
Let's see.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even that. It's line 4. Let's see.
More.
Oh, yeah. So that's actually a funny thing. Like maybe you'll recall there was like in an episode of of certain like show about like starting business in Silicon Valley. They had an argument between tabs and spaces. So there is a similar thing about like single quotes and double quotes, and they do both the same thing, but like single quotes is this is something that we chose for the language to be, I don't know, easier. But like, so this is the parser doesn't even won't even take double quotes. Okay. Yeah, there you go. A no identifier, Marta. So like the errors in this language are really a tool for you. It's not like saying, oh, you did something wrong. It's more like there is something that you need to improve about the program, so like the computer can understand it. So, I mean,
do I do it like this?
Nope. So here we need to let me take over for a second and do a little bit of yeah. Oh, there you go. I okay. I even have it here. Okay. So, Marta, a few important things about like what is the meaning of what we do. For instance, like if you use the quotes like here, and you putting stuff in here, this is always a string. A string is just like a text, a list of characters. It's just a made up text, can be anything. But like every time you use those single quotes, you're saying everything that is, between the single quotes, I'm gonna use as a text value somewhere in my program. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is why the CLI will even like make it green. Yeah, for you to really see. Oh, okay, this is a string value. However, if you say, a yellow car like this, the language won't have any idea what is it that it is, because it's not a string, doesn't have quotes.
It doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, it can be anything. Like as far as like the language goes, it can be anything. Like if someone at the beginning of the program they defined this to be, I don't know, like 5, then they would get that 5. But unless they do it, this is just some random identifier. It's like, using a word that the computer didn't know the meaning for it. So every time when you either use the string, then you tell the computer what is it that you want, because you're very like explicit about it. You quote, the string that you need and give it to the computer. And the second case is like you just refer to something that the computer should already know. That's it. This is the difference. Like the yellow car is just a name. If someone doesn't know what the yellow car is, the name is not gonna tell them. This is just like a pointing a finger or something, right, and be like, oh, yellow car, But if you don't know the meaning of it, like it's not gonna mean anything for you. Yellow car, we call it like a reference. It's a reference. It's only thing that it does, it points finger at something. But this thing is a different thing. It's a value. It's like you give meaning. You define it by giving meaning to it. So that's the difference. So coming back to our example, like what we said, what we had here was let greeting fun name. Right? We had concat hello name. Okay. Yeah. So let's say greeting 1, 2, 3. So let's see what's going on here. So first of all, again, the yellow car, and this is just like the program is executed from top to bottom. So here's this problem. Okay, let's comment it out, so it doesn't exist. Run it again. Oh, unknown identifier greeting. This is, and I actually made a typo here, so I need to fix that because the computer doesn't know what the greeting is misspelled. It knows what this is because I told him that it's a function. So again, yeah. Why did I get the concatenated string? Because the program, it already knew what the greeting is. And here what I said to him is like, hey, since you already know, you already can do the greeting because we have a function for it, can you please run the function with that specific name that I gave you? That's it, what you do. So you say, okay, I have a recipe for greetings, I have an algorithm for it, and I want to save it in the computer so the computer can use it when I need it. And here is actually where I need it, and I need it for this specific thing, So by creating those functions, you can teach your computer new stuff, and that's why we use it so often, because when you are programming, it is actually what you do, that you teach your computer new stuff. So yeah.
Can concat combine more than 2 arguments together?
I think so. So for instance, like if you had a I don't know, you could list the name a couple of times, like here. See, and I listed it 4 times. It's sort of like glue it one by the other. So yeah. So here, like, since we already have that, like, how about we create a function that is able to repeat a certain string a number of times. So I'm thinking, let's create a repeat string. That would be a function that takes some text, and it also takes a count, and it needs to do certain operations, so that if I do repeat string, for instance, add and 3, I'm gonna get at, right? Yeah. So this is something that I'd like for us to be able to write. It uses the thing that we knew already, but sort of like I'm wondering like how you think about this.
Is there just one text, right? Just add.
Yeah. It's more like like if you have a car, want to do it 2 times, so that would be a car, right? Yeah. If you had something and would want to not repeat it at all, then you would get an empty string. This is sort of like a small utility function. Like this. How would you? What do you think about this?
Well, you could use Concat probably.
Yes, Concat can, yeah, definitely.
So it kind of has to know that it has to take Concat 3 times.
Yeah.
Or the same argument 3 times. Like I don't really know how to do it, like, because this doesn't.
Okay. So interesting. Let's go get there, maybe step by step. Like, would you know how to write a function that takes in a text and like doubles it? So, like, for instance, would you be able to write like twice egg, and it gives you.
Well, I didn't know the twice.
Egg. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just making up those names. Those don't exist. I'm just like I'm just writing down a
So you see, that's my problem, because I don't know if something like Concat exists or not, and then you go with twice, and I don't know if it's already set and it exists or not. But that's okay.
I'm gonna be. We're still working on like making the documentation for it more accessible. For now, you can just trust me, like that we have Concat, and Concat, Concat can do stuff for us, like we saw, right? We have two letters, you want to put them together, very easy. Concat can do it for you. Like we would like to have twice, that is able to take in a letter and
put the argument twice.
Yeah, and do it like this. And we maybe wanna have triple as well, And if you're confident with those, then we can go back and think about like and like the repeat. How that works, that takes in a text and the count. Yeah.
Okay, so so do we create another function which will be called twice or triple, or no? Or do we just use Concat?
We would like to. So let's imagine, like, these are very simplistic like operations, but I'd like for us to repeat about the concept of functions. Really, like, so we need our computer to be able to understand what twice is, and we create a function for it. That's basically it.
Okay, so we're should I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I help you out.
Okay. So let's just tweak that. Okay. So we are letting twice be a function from, again,
Okay.
a name, and then we say what it does. So it's going to be concat from
Okay, awesome. Can we test it a little bit? See.
Let's test it.
No, we need to test it twice now. See if twice works.
Twice from Apple.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's a string.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. Yeah, very nice. So how would you like? How would you go about triple then? Like, if you wanted to.
Well, I mean.
Okay.
Triple. Let me just add again the same argument.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. So I mean, it seems like a triple is doing a little bit more than twice. So, I mean, if you, so if we have very similar code that does that, and like potentially we might want to like a triple, quadruple, and like repeat 5 times, 6 times, and so on. So, like, how do you think how can we have a one function, that no matter how many times we want to repeat a word, it can do it for us? You see what I mean? Like we need like one tool to. Okay.
Yeah, but does it exist, or do I have to create it?
All of those things like they don't exist that we do here, and we do it more like for for learning how to write those functions really. Yeah.
Because you're taking the same argument times 2 times 3 times 5, I would probably try to multiply that, but I don't know if there is a chance that string will be multiplied.
Okay, awesome. Interesting thought. Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, what if like you already had double and you wanted to write triple with using double? So
you just go +1.
Okay. So how that work? Maybe there is something,
So you're just adding the string again.
Yeah. However, it's like you would only need to. You remember, like before the break, we did, the recursive kind of like function. So we said like the sum of squares we did the last time. So we said, okay, if we have a big problem, but if we already know how to solve a kind of like a smaller problem, so we can solve the smaller one and then build up a more solution on it. So I'm thinking like maybe we can use the same approach to be able to multiply the string as many times as we.
So you could probably just gonna write it down. You can go triple. So what it does, it takes concat from name, and adds. Can I put a function name in the place of an argument here? No.
Yeah, probably, but like what's so I'm trying to understand what are we doing here exactly, because we already have triple and now we so now
No, I was trying to make it again, but with that recursive call maybe.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So definitely, like in Concat, when you write Concat and you write arguments to it, you can pass in any value. So like if you run a function and it also produces a string, then you can use it where you need a string. So Concat. So Concat, the way it works, it takes the chunks of it takes the little strings, joins together to create one big string.
So
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to try it? See what it if it works. You yeah, I don't. Oh, I see. Okay.
So triple string close. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah. Good job. Nice. All right. So look, like the like, so you use Concat twice. So first concat that you used is just like a double concat because it just doubles it. So it seems like you remember like the repeat problem. It had two arguments: one the name and the count. So in order to triple, you had to double first, right? So it's sort of like you did the same stuff, but for lower size.
But I don't know how to tell it, like, take the argument like 5 times or 4 times or 3 times triple. I don't know how to say that.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, we use a trick in that case, and that trick is instead of saying that directly, we say, oh, if you want to do 5 times, then you just do 4 times and then do one more time. I'm trying to make it more clear. Let me. Can you? I wonder how to. Yeah. So, would you mind writing down twice again?
I'm just gonna delete.
We can have many functions in one program. It's not a problem. We can just write. Let's write one above it, for instance.
Here, like twice.
Yeah.
The function from main.
Yeah.
And it's a concat from the arguments.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. So now you can see that in line 19, you could as well just say twice if you had that function already, right? And that would be a shorter way to do it, because we already have a function for it, so we can use it. But you need to pass in an argument here. Yeah.
Shouldn't this be yellow already? Or
no. This the you won't get that unfortunately for this. Okay. So how do you triple? Seems like you need to do twice first and then concat with another name, correct? So it always goes like this. If you look, if you want to do 4 times, then first you need to do 3 and then one more and 5, and it goes like this. It's a recursive. So if you have a bigger program, you can work it down to a smaller one.
Yeah.
Let me. Yeah.
I hope you guys are following.
Yeah.
If you do, comment down below. I follow.
Okay. Let's go back to my screen for a second.
Okay.
I'd like you to see one thing again here. Take notice of what shows up on the right side of the screen. Like, as you can see, it also has the quotes. So it seems like when I run my program on the left side, I get a string. Like, if I had a different program, if my program only had like a number, I would get that number. And this is important because like you can have your own value, like my value. When you want to create your own value, you always use let, as we discussed, and you can set it up to whatever you want. For instance, another string like my value text. And if you want to use your value, you can just say its name, and the program will know what you mean. So that's we build up on it. So if we have a tool like your twice, which takes text and does this concat on it. So this tool we can always use with texts everywhere. So when I had my value, I can now say twice my value, and everywhere I had text, I can still use it. So I can even use it here again, because it's all about like your capabilities of your program, right? And that's important. Like you need to be thinking more about like, okay, what kind of data my program needs. Like if your program needs text because it's gonna twice it, then it doesn't matter where this text comes from. You just need to make sure that it's a text. So you see, I can do all sorts of stuff. I can do twice of my value. I can do twice of concat my value, with exclamation mark. It's like when you create those functions, you create like a new tools, and you can use those tools wherever you want. So that's one thing. And coming back to repeat times, let's call it like this. So yeah, so this is the count. So what I wanted for us to see is like repeat times if it has to like, okay, gonna returns text times count. You see? So text depends on what the count is. So it's always gonna be like, okay, if the count is like less or equal 0, then it's gonna be empty string, because like doesn't matter what the text you want. If it's 0 count or less than that, it's nothing. And all other cases, what we want to do, we need to repeat the text 1 times less. So text count 1 times less, see, and add this text again. So this is something that you've been doing before. You said, okay, I now do 3 times, so I need to do concat twice text count. Wow, sorry. Yeah, just does this, right?
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, you see, this is just this is just a more generic version of the same thing. So if we have like say 3 times, we get this 3 times. If we say 33 times, it's gonna figure it out because it already has the recipe. It's gonna keep calling the same stuff, and and that's
like it's not that easy to come up like just right away with the general rule, and
it's not. I know it's not. It's like this is really what programming is about. It's like for figuring out those
magic spell.
You figure out like, okay, I have those tools. How do I use those tools to get what I want?
Yeah.
You see, that's so that's the thing. Like, is this a little bit clear to you, or like, do you have maybe some follow-up questions on like how it works?
I definitely have to go back to that example and go through it one more time. But it's just it's what you want to get, and what you have available, but coming up with that magic spell kind of takes a while, at least for me, obviously.
Of course.
So well, it's I hope it's the matter of practice, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's again, as you can see, we define repeat times, and like we use it already in its own definition. So it's called recursion, and it's an advanced concept, but we mention it already so that you understand a little bit more about how those programs are operated, because every time a program gonna see a function being run, it's gonna always go back to the definition and go step by step. It's not gonna it's just like it's really automatic. So you can do stuff like this. It just, yeah.
Well, I'll have to give it one more try and try to do it by myself again, because like I couldn't come up with the solution right away. So I'll have to go through that again. Like, guys, if you have any questions, just let us know. And you probably did a better job than I did. So yeah, keep coming to our lessons, and we're gonna keep learning to code in AskQL. Um, so I'm actually going through the comments. Uh, no questions. If you liked it, let us know. If you have any idea of how we can make it better for you, for all of us code newbies, then let us also know. And yeah, keep your fingers crossed for me and for Martin. Mm, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
And one more thing, there's another storm. It kind of looks like it's a theme of our lessons. Like every time we have a lesson, there is a storm going on.
There is a storm. That's right.
So,
yeah.
So next week, 6 p.m., there's going to be another live coding lesson and a storm. So
yeah.
see you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.